Welcome back. It is Sunday, June 15th, around 4 p.m. All right. Today I'd like to make this video in regards to recovery. And from my videos, as you can see, that I put a big emphasis on recovery. Now, when you say recovery, it's just a really broad term, all right? Recovery has many facets to it. All right. It's just not one or two little things, and people always go with the main ones: sleep, don't train too frequently, don't train too, just the common ones. Okay. Don't drink. Those are the common ones. I'm going to kind of break it down on why the importance of recovery. And if you want to gain muscle and be lean, that these things are very important. All right. So I'm going to start off. Now, I don't script anything. I don't write anything down. This is all off the cuff. So if I seem a little edgy, it's just my mind's working, okay? So I'm going to start off with the reason recovery is so important is because without recovery, when you go back to your next training session, if you're not recovered fully, you're not going to make any progress, all right? And people will say, well, even people on anabolic steroids, it's the same deal for them. I heard a quote from Dorian Yates, and come on, we know he was on drugs, obviously, and he even said that he tried the regular way of training. You see what I'm saying? Like the regular bodybuilders of the time, and he said it didn't work. He would stop growing. When he got to a certain point, he didn't work. So he followed in the footsteps of Arthur Jones, Casey Viator, Mike Metzer. So he understood the importance of recovery. So the minute he said he cut back on his training, his intensity was still high, but he cut back on his training frequency, so to speak, the sets and the high volume. He cut back, and he said, boom, like a light, everything would start growing again. So if you are on anabolic steroids, don't think to yourself that recovery just doesn't apply to you. It applies to everyone. And like I said, recovery is a big circle. There's many facets to why. It's just not those main things I mentioned earlier. So when it comes to recovery, is the number one thing is you must recuperate from your bouts of exercise that you did. You have to recover from them, whether you're natural or not. And if you're natural, it's even more important than if you're on anabolic or steroid drugs. That's even more critical, all right? So let's get started to the point where people that go to the gym will train their asses off, then they will go online, they'll see routines of these people that are in the magazines, YouTube influencers, and then they get the idea that that's going to work for them. And one thing that they're not telling you is that recovery, I just got done doing katas, 2 hours today. Sunday's my kata day. Anyway, you will emulate these guys that you see that you would like to look like, and then it doesn't work for you. What a lot of people don't tell you is that your recovery ability is different than anybody else's, and we all have different levels of what we can tolerate. Some people are very genetically gifted, and they can tolerate it's your nervous system can tolerate a lot of stress, physical stress, and it's able to recuperate and recover from that. One person can do 6 sets and boom, he can recover within a day or two. Another person may do 6 sets and it'll bury him. And let's equate that they're both trained individuals. See what I'm saying? This is not a newbie going against that. So all things being equal, you'll bury one person and the other person will gain. The reason is their blueprint, their genetic makeup, their nervous system is going to be different. So when you train, your recovery ability doesn't get better and better the more you train. Your recovery ability is your recovery. It's like your gene. It's like brown hair. is brown hair, black hair is black hair. You cannot change it. You can optimize it by doing certain things that we're going to get into this video. So remember, your recovery ability is your own. You own it. And that's you. That's yours. So what you have to do is find out how much exercise you can tolerate. You have to figure out how much time you need between bouts, okay, to see what kind of results you get. If you're getting stronger, are you feeling irritable, moody? You'll see the signs. So with that being said, remember, recovery ability is not like muscle, working a muscle. It gets better as we go along. Now, work capacity will get better, but your recovery will stay the same. Now, this is my belief. I don't know if there's any evidence to that. This is my own personal experience. I have learned that no matter what I do, I have to stay within certain perimeters for me in order to grow. So that's just me, and everyone's going to be different. So with that being said, is remember, that's something that you need to find out for yourself, how much exercise you can tolerate, okay? Now, I want to get to the part what you'll never hear talk about. Your recovery ability is just not food, sleep, rest, not drinking, not smoking. Of course, those things are extremely important, but it's your mindset. It's how you think, all right? If you got a lot of stress in your life, if you're prone to have a lot of anxiety, you're always on the edge, you're a worrier, you're fearful of life, believe it or not, these things have an impact, because you can be sitting in a chair, and if you're stressing financially, relationships, many different things, these things will raise your cortisol level just sitting there because of your extreme worry, stress, not knowing what tomorrow brings. These things are going to affect you in a somewhat, I'm not saying dramatic way, but in some small way. It's like leaks in a bucket, you know. It's like you got a little leak here, a little leak here, a leak there, and they may be small leaks, but it's still energy that's dispersing out of the bucket. You see what I'm saying? So having the right state of mind, believe it or not, is going to help you incredibly for your endeavors, your physical culture, your lifting, whatever, your resistance training, your calisthenics, your karate, whatever it may be. You're going to have to start understanding your own psyche, all right? Meditation's awesome, all right? It's really great. I suggest listening to people like Johnny Sorno, TMS syndrome, understanding the subconscious mind. All these things are part of who you are. Your subconscious is not known to you. It just does what it does. It pumps your blood, pumps your heart. It controls blood pressure, your breathing. That's the autonomic nervous system. It does everything. You don't have any control over it. So those things are controlled by the guy inside your head. If consciousness is even inside your head, I don't think it is, but if it is, then that little guy at that door is not going to let anyone in there to mess around with things. It's kind of like your main drive on your hard drive. There's a parts of files you can't get into. So it's the same way with you, but through meditation, self-understanding on who you are, why we're here. The world's full of a lot of crazy things, you know. We don't even know why we're here. What is the purpose of all this? What are we going to do if there's no money? What are we going to do if I have no love, no relationships? All these things play a big, big picture in how you progress in life and how you're going to progress in any endeavor, not just working out. You see what I'm saying? So remember, try to close up as many leaks as you can close up, all right? So that's one big important thing, is the mind, how it connects to you, to your body. That is Very, very important. Okay. The next thing is proper programming and training. All right. If you got shitty program and doing a lot of kooky things, lifts that you shouldn't be doing, you know, if you weigh like me, I weigh 165 right now. Why would I want to go if I'm doing a workout? Now, believe me, I have arms and triceps in my workout, of course, but why would you want to focus on things that are non-essential things? Okay, arms, triceps, you know, calves. Of course I work them, don't get me wrong, and I put a lot of emphasis on them, but you must incorporate the big barbell lifts. Those are so important because they affect the whole body. They're like an anabolic stimulus. Your squats, deadlifts, overhead press, bench press, all right? All the other stuff is icing on the cake, so to speak. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you should neglect isolation and just don't give a hoot about them. You should focus. But when you start out, in the beginning of each workout, I always start out with the big compound lift to stimulate. It stimulates the most growth, and then the isolations are going to be after. But that doesn't mean in any way that they are less priority. They're just as much as a priority. I have a video saying that barbell curls are a compound lift. But you cannot just go all out and just do arms and calves and do all these movements thinking that you're going to grow an arm by overdoing and spamming arm work. It's not going to happen. There's people that are spamming arm work like hell. I know a guy at the gym, a young kid, I talked to him the other day, and he says he's getting tendonitis in his elbows because, and I asked him, well, he's doing triceps, biceps 3 to 4 times a week. And then the rest of his program, they're already getting hit indirectly anyway. I go, you're doing too much. That's too much arm work. Your arms are small muscles, all right? And then everyone will go around and they'll scare you. They'll go, oh, if you do that, you're going to have a spider physique. You ain't going to have arms. You'll be strong. That's bullshit too. All right. Total bullshit. Does a gymnast have small arms? Do you ever see a gymnast? All right. That answers pretty much everything. So what I'm saying is you have to have proper programming. You got to have the exercise in the order. Okay. So one exercise complements the other. All right. One exercise, then the next one will complement what you just did, and the third one will complement what you just did the other two. You follow what I'm saying? Strategically put together. All right. That's a good program. All right. When I do on number 4, give you number 4 of the rotation, my workout consists of deadlifts. All right. Pendlay rows and shrugs. So the deadlifts are affecting the whole body. That's the main core power movement. It's going to produce a lot of hormones, growth hormone, testosterone. And then you've got Pendlay rows, which is the next biggest one in the picture. That's also good. You've already, when doing deadlifts, you've already hit that back, your posterior chain. Now you throw in the Pendlay rows, and it's going to be like one, and then bam, the other one. And then I finish off with upright rows or a shrug, depending on what I want to do. But either one of those, because you've hit your traps already with the deadlifts. The Pendlay rows are going to hit your upper traps and your back, and then finish off beautifully with either a shrug or an upright row. So each one of these, and I only do 3 per workout. That's all, for about 15 to 18 sets, because you don't need any more. You start going off into the woods and start adding this and adding this because you want to be a bodybuilder. Because you want to be a bodybuilder as a natural, you're going to fail. You're not going to grow, and you're going to get weak. All right. And I'm sure you've gone to the gym and you've seen it yourself. You're going to get weak. That's just the bottom line. And you're not going to look good. Your composition is going to go to shit because you're raising too much cortisol. When you're in the gym and you've got 5 or 6 different exercises and you're doing 4 or 5 sets on each one, your cortisol is going to start jacking up. If you're in the gym for more than an hour and a half, your cortisol is going to start jacking up. And boom, you're done. All right. So that's number one. Programming, proper putting the exercises strategically in the proper way, in the proper categories. One complement the other, and the other complements. So they each do the same. What you're doing. God, I gotta get this in. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the most stimulus for what you're trying to achieve in that workout. So that's the kind of thinking you got to go into it with, all right? So you got to get that dialed in. Proper programming, all right? Proper order of exercise, okay? So that's very, very important. Totally important. And then we've got, if you're a natural, okay, you're going to need to eat in a specific manner to fuel your body, and you don't want to put on a lot of weight, all right? You want to just, I would stay at maintenance. If you're relatively really lean, then you could probably go a couple of 100 calories above maintenance if you're younger, and that's not going to be it. You don't want to get fat. You don't want to put on a shitload of weight thinking that's going to build you all up, because in the end, then you're going to have to, then you're going to look like shit. You're not going to feel good. The girls aren't going to look at you anymore. Girls don't give a rat's ass about big, buffed out dudes. They like slender, V-tapered, lean men. That's what they like. They're not interested in bear mode man. They could give a shit. First thing they're going to think, if this guy starts banging on me, he's going to smash the shit out of me. So they're not into that. So the only people that are into that is other dudes. And I'm not interested in pleasing other dudes. I could care less. So remember, you got to have a proper diet that's going to facilitate good quality protein, whey proteins, lean meats, fish, lean beef, sirloin. What else we got? Fish, yeah, sirloin. Chicken is last on the list, but you can do it because it's high in protein. The ratio to protein and fat is very good. So you got to get that dialed in, okay? Got to get all that dialed in. And I'm going to go back full circle to how you think and your nervous system and your whole thing. Don't disregard that part because it's really important. As being where I come from in my particular, upbringing and physical culture, doing this martial arts stuff, a fighter can be massively good. You can you can be a good puncher, have your form perfect, and on an off day, that fight that you lost, that you would have normally won, has many. It's not just that, oh, I was off that day. It started prior to that fight. The events in his life, what was going on, his activities before that. Was he stressed out? Was he not focused on his training? So it's just that mindset more than likely lost his fight. There wasn't that hunger there, okay? I've seen this many times in fighters. If you're not hungry, you're going to lose. And if your mind is not set, if you don't have the eye of the tiger, like in Rocky, you're not gonna win the fight. Your heart's not gonna be in it. All right. So don't dismiss your mind-body connection, because it's gonna mess you up. All right. That will hurt you. on your recovery ability. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up here in 1 second. So let's see what else, if there's anything else that I didn't bring up here. That. Food. Oh yes. This is the most important thing. This I see a lot of, okay? That is, here you are, you got everything dialed in. Your head's on right, your rest is good, your training, your program's good, and now you're trying to do a specific goal. Let's say you're trying to get leaned out, and you start doing a shitload of cardio. I've seen it. You're walking 3 or 4 hours a day. You're jogging. You're doing stair steppers at the gym, and you're going all out, and you're saying, "Man, I'm gonna slam the cardio." All right. You know what that's gonna do? Poof! It's gonna destroy you. You're gonna lose muscle. You're gonna look worse than ever before. You're going to look terrible, all right? Because, again, you're going to raise a shitload of cortisol. You're already training. Your body's already in this stress mode from working out. And now you're going to add a bunch of activity. You're going to get shin splints. Even walking too much is bad. People think that this walking is a panacea. It's bad. If you want to get leaner, there is nothing better than calorie control. That's all there is. You don't have to do any cardio. You don't have to walk. You get your calories dialed in, you'll get shredded. And I'm doing that right now. I do not do any cardio. I do my katas, and I do them very slow. It's almost, if you saw it, it'd be like Tai Chi, just to keep, I don't want to lose the movements and the form. That's all. It's like it's like Tai Chi out here in the garage for about an hour. So, and as far as cardio, I may walk once or twice a week. I take a little walk through the neighborhood. Like I said in another video, we got a cool little strip. It's like being in San Francisco. It reminds me of that. And they got little boutique shop, coffee. I got friends there, and just take a walk. I'm not walking for fat loss. I'm just walking to get out of the house, get some sun, and get some activity. That's all. But I do not walk long distance or treadmills. Do not do any of that if your goal is to gain muscle. Dial in your diet first. That's more important than any walking or cardio. And remember, this is why I think they do this. What they start doing is, well, if I walk and do 2 or 3 hours of cardio, that means I can go eat freaking potatoes and rice and all this. So maybe they do that as a cop-out because they can't control these urges to eat this bad food, all right? So remember, getting lean is about calories in, calories out. I know people disagree with that, but that's the bottom line. And believe me, I know, because I'm getting pretty shredded now. All right. So remember, diet over cardio. Cardio is just something that you just do to get out of the house. You start doing, you're going to get really messed up and you're going to look haggard. Now, you'll get away with it possibly if you're on drugs. Then you could probably get away with it more than a natural person. All right. So the reason I'm making this video is because obviously I have my whole channel's geared on abbreviated training and infrequent training, and I have my training set up that way because it works for me. And just because I'm 70 years old doesn't mean that that's why I do it. I believe that this type of training regimen that I do will help everybody, people that aren't on drugs, because when you start looking out here and seeing all these people, I'm going to have to really say it like it is. 90% of these guys are pinning. And then the ones that don't look impressive, all right, no one even looks at their channels because they are not pinning. And now I may sound like, oh, he's just envious and he's just weak. Hey, listen, when you reach my age, 70 years old, and you do what I do, I'm not trying to brag. I'm not no big monster that can lift shitloads of weight, but I feel very confident in my abilities to walk down the street if I'm confronted, if I need to move, or if I need to run. I'm fine. I don't need to deadlift 600 pounds. All right. I look good. Take my clothes off. I look good. All right. And that's what's important. So keep everything in perspective and remember, we are here for a short time and enjoy the ride. And don't let the bullshit get you down. Don't get mixed up in all the politic bullshit to just stress you out. It doesn't matter. We're not going to be here soon anyway. And that's everyone's trip here is like a poof, like a puff, like a candle going poof in the night. Just poof. It'll be flaming and then one guy, it's gone. So don't get all jazzed up. If a guy pisses you off in the line at the store, let it go. It's not worth it. All right. So that's it. Resistance training, Claudio Martini, and I'm bringing it home to you today on a Sunday afternoon. We'll talk to you soon. Subscribe and like this channel, and we'll talk to you later.